Hola amigos, this is Somver and welcome back to CodePipe. In the previous section, we saw how we can design the backend of our e-commerce website. In this section, we will see how we can host our website on cPanel. Again, there are many hosting services that we can choose from, but in our case, we will see how we can host our website on cPanel. And before we get started, let me remind you again, if you are new to the channel or you have not subscribed to the channel, please consider hitting the subscribe button to support us. That being said, let's get started. First of all, let me tell you what all comes under full stack development, as we are trying to get hold of what is full stack development all along. So first of all, we have front end development that includes our UI, UX and HTML, CSS. Then we have our backend development where we use Python or Node.js, PHP, etc., where we design the backend or the backbone of our website. Next, we have database. I hope this is not a new thing, but database is something where we can store our data, and there are different options to choose from, like MySQL, SQLite, Postgres, etc. And in our case, Django provides us with the default SQLite, so we are using this. Then comes DevOps. In loose terms, this means our online presence, the servers or the place where we keep our static files, etc. And in some cases, mobile app development is also considered in full stack development, and sometimes it is not. Let's not consider in our case. For our website, we have created front end, back end, we have the database. Now we are on the DevOps stage. Hence, in our hosting, the first step will be making an AWS bucket so that we can store our static files. So let's see how we can create an AWS bucket. The first step will be checking out the AWS console. So if we go to aws.amazon.com, we will get this console, and here we can sign in or sign up. Let me sign in to this console. It will ask us if we are root user or IAM user. We will get to know the difference in a bit. But if you are making the bucket and everything, you can use the root user. But if you are someone who is just using this console, you can use IAM user. This will be the console we will see. Now we need to go to S3 buckets. For that we can use this drop down, and here we can search for it, or we can directly search here S3, and here we can click on this one. So here we will see all our buckets that we have on our AWS. A brief about S3 bucket is, consider this an virtual bucket where we can pour all our data files and we can store it online. And if the file size is very low, the literal cost of S3 bucket will be 0. So here we have this option of create bucket. So we will click here. We can give any bucket name. So I will say area 51 demo. We can keep everything as default. After this we have to uncheck this so that our website can access data from this bucket. We can leave everything as it is, and at the bottom we see this create bucket. So let's create our bucket. It is asking us to click on this one. This is an warning if we are making our bucket public. So I will acknowledge it, and again I will create the bucket. Now we get the message that bucket is successfully created. Next step is to allow users to access this on AWS. For that I will go to IAM, where we can allow users on AWS to access different AWS resources. If I click on this, I will get to this page. On the left side we can see we have user groups. So we will create a group that can access our area 51 demo bucket, and we can add different permissions for different users inside this group. So if we click on this, I already have these two groups, but we will create a new group for our demo. We can use any group name. So I will say demo group, and we can add users to our group. I will add myself, and if you have any other team members or any other members that you want to add, you can select them from here. And if the users are not present, you can go to this user and create a new user for your AWS resource. So here I am adding myself, and if I scroll down, it is asking to attach permissions. Here I will search for S3. Inside this we can see we have this S3 full access. So I will click on this, and if I scroll down we can see we have create group. So I will create the group. Our group was created. Now if we want to add users to this or remove permissions, add permissions, we can go into this and edit it according to our preference. Now let's go back to our S3 bucket. Here I will open this area 51 demo bucket. We don't have any objects in this, but before that we will go to permissions tab, and if we scroll down we have this bucket policy. This will accept JSON data. To know what policy we need to add here is, there is this cool blog. I will try to provide the link in the description. This is basically a guide how we can store our Django static and media files on Amazon S3, and this is some basic setup that we have already done. If we go to the policy section, which is here, this is a sample policy which we can use. So I will copy this in our bucket, I will edit and I will paste it here. In place of this your bucket name, we need to add this. So I will copy this, paste it here and paste it here, and we can save changes. But now we are getting the error of missing required field principal. So we will add this in our policy. If we scroll up, for principal below this effect, I will put this which says principal all. Now let's try to save again. If we save, we are getting the message of successfully edited bucket policy, which means our policy is edited. At this point, after making this bucket policy, if you are not the only user, you need to attach this policy into our IAM user group. But to keep things simple, I'm not getting into that. That is a discussion for another day. But for now, after this bucket policy, we will scroll down and we will look at this CORS policy, which is cross origin resource sharing. So a brief description about CORS is, if we are doing any operation like get, put or post, we will need to allow our domain to get access to this bucket. For that we are using CORS policies. To know what we need to put here is, there is this Amazon AWS documentation about CORS. So this is basically all the information that we need to know about CORS or cross origin resource sharing. And if we scroll down, we will get to know one example and we can use this to put in our policy. I can copy this, go to my bucket, edit this, and here I will paste this. Now we can see here we are allowing methods for head, get, put, post and delete. And one major thing we can miss out is allowed origins. So whatever the domain we are using, we need to include that here. So let's say we are using codepipe.com, so I will say codepipe.com and any other origins or domain that we are using. But we are not using any domain as of now. So in this place, I will use our local host, that will be this one, but without this 8000. This should work. Let's save this, save changes, and we have successfully edited our origin resource sharing. Now in terms of our AWS bucket, we are all set. Now we need to see how we can use our Django application to put our static files in this bucket. For that, we can either take help of this blog that describes how to use AWS in our Django project, or you can directly see what I am doing and you can replicate that. So let's see how it is doing for our Django project. Let's ignore this for now and we need to see what all dependencies we need. So here are all the dependencies we need to install. We already have Django, so we will need to install Boto3, Django storages and Unicorn. So let's install these three. In our terminal, I will say pip install Boto3 storages and Unicorn. We can install all of these three in a single go. So let's install. It will take a while to install these things. We are getting the error because it should not be storages, it should be Django storages. So let's install again. As I said, it will take a moment to install things because there are some other dependencies it will install with these things. Here we have successfully installed these. After this we need to include storages to our installed apps. So let's do this. So in our area 51 settings.py installed apps, we will include storages. After this, the blog is quite confusing, so let me tell you the straightforward method for this. The next step is to initiate our AWS integration. For that, where I am using these static things, just below this I will paste this. Let me tell you what we are doing here. First of all, we need to give a bucket name. So here we will say area 51 demo, that is our bucket name. Next we are giving the region name. This should be the same, but let me tell you how you can find this. On your S3 bucket page where we have our file, you can see this AWS region, that is US East 2. So you can use this. After that we have AWS access key ID and access key. These are supposed to be credentials for the user that is using this AWS resource. And how we can find this is, in our AWS console if we go to IAM and then we go to users, and here you can select the username, not the checkbox but the name. And here if we go to security credentials, it will give us the access key ID and the access key. For privacy concerns, I am not going there, but from this tab you will get the key and ID. And just as a side note here, our .env file looks something like this, where we have debug and secret key from Django, Stripe keys, and finally AWS keys. And we can use this in our settings.py. Coming back to settings, after this key ID and access key, we need to give custom domain, and we can directly use this. This will give us the domain to our AWS bucket. Let's give some space here. And while we are here, I will remove this if debug and correct the indentation. Why we remove that is, when we will be collecting static files, if debug will cause errors. Now using these lines, we have initiated our AWS bucket integration. Now we need to provide locations for our media and static files. How we can do that is, in our main folder, we will create a new file that will say custom_storages.py. Again, you can give any name, but this is what most people use, so I'm going with this. In this file, we need to use this code. The complete understanding of this code is quite complicated. What we can understand is, we are giving a static storage and media storage. We are using the S3 custom domain from our settings, and we are asking our Django to store all static files at that location. Same with the media storage, we are taking the S3 custom domain for our bucket, and we are asking our Django project to store all of the media files at that location. So in this file we are telling which location to use, and in our settings.py we will redirect our static and media URLs to those locations, and we can do that using these lines. Let me give some space for the differentiation. So these lines I have used. So here I am giving the static files location, static root, static URL, and static file storage. And same I am doing with the media files. Now we can remove that static URL and media URL and root. So let me show you how this will look finally. If I remove this, remove the terminal. So this is the final code where we are initiating our S3 bucket, and we are asking Django to store our media and static files on the S3 bucket. Now the next step is, we will need to run a command which is python manage.py collect static. What this will do is, it will collect all our static files and it will put those files into our S3 bucket. So if I run this, it is showing that we already have the files, and if we want to overwrite it, we can say yes. As we have many images and many static files, it will take some time, but to confirm if the files are getting stored or not, we can go to our bucket. On our console, if we go to our bucket, we can see that we have this folder static, and if we go inside this, we have all the folders, but I'm assuming we don't have all the files yet, so let me check. And turns out we do have all the files. That means our process is completed. Once our command is completed, we will get this status or message that says these many static files copied. Now to check if our static files are uploaded successfully or not, we will run our server manage.py run. We can see our website, and if we inspect and check any element, we can see that the link is area51demo.s3.amazon AWS, which means we are getting this image from Amazon AWS, which means we have successfully placed our static files on S3 bucket and we can use them. But here we can also see these boxes, and these should be icons. So let me put it down. And if we check for our console, it says access to font at so and so location from origin has been blocked by CORS policy. And remember, in our S3 bucket we have defined one CORS policy, but in that we did not use this 8000. So I will copy this, go to our bucket, go to this bucket, go to permissions, and on the place of our CORS policy I will edit this. For the allowed origin, I will replace this with this. Let's save. After successfully saving, let's try to reload our site, and if we refresh, here we can see we are getting our icons. So CORS policy is very important. So CORS policy allows us to use our static files on public domain, and the other policy allows users from AWS console to use our bucket. These are two separate things. Now before going to the next step, let me remind you once more, if you are liking the video, do consider hitting the subscribe button if you are not subscribed yet. Let's try to upload something and let's see if we are putting the media files on the bucket or not. First let's check if there is anything in the bucket. So if we go to this objects, we only have static, we don't have any media. Now let's go to admin page of our site and let's try to upload something. So let me upload one variation, add new variation. I will select any product, any color, any size, and here I will use one image. I will use any sample image. Let me use this one. Let me give any price 45 and let's save this. This image should be uploaded in our S3 bucket. We got the success message here. Let's try our bucket. If we refresh, here we can see we have media folder. If we get inside this, we have women files, jeans variations, and here we can see we have the file name, which means we have successfully uploaded our file into our S3 bucket. So finally we have set up our static and media files on our S3 bucket, and now we are ready to host our website on any platform. In our case it's cPanel. One last thing is, I know it will be tough to replicate this code, so I will try to put this in a document or something and put the link in the description. In this video, we will finally see how we can host our site on cPanel. One last thing before we go to our cPanel, we need to prepare our requirements.txt file. If we check our requirements, we don't have much, but if we see pip freeze, we see that there are a lot of dependencies. So what I will do is, I will say pip freeze greater than requirements.txt. It will copy all of these pip items into requirements.txt. If I press enter, you can see that our requirements file is changed and now it has all the dependencies. Now we have our requirements set. We can move on to hosting. There are a number of hosting platforms available online, but according to me, in my experience, Namecheap is the best. It is fairly cheap and it is easy to use, but if you like, you can choose some other platform. What made me choose Namecheap is, on other platforms, we do not have the option to set up Python applications. On the Namecheap, I found it and I found it easy to use. So that's why I'm using Namecheap. On this website, first of all, we need to get a domain and get shared hosting. I'm afraid I cannot show it online because I already have an account. But if we go to this domains, we can get our domain with cheap price. And if we go to hosting and shared hosting, there are different plans. Let's change the currency to Indian rupees, and we can see that hosting is quite cheap, and along with this there are some plans on which we can get free domains, so we can choose according to our preference and we can purchase. Let me log in and show you the dashboard. So this is how the dashboard will look like. Once you buy the domain, you will need to verify it. You will get a mail to verify it. After that, you will also get one SSL certificate, that is the security certificate, that will be automatically installed, and then you will get a dashboard like this. So this is our domain. It will show us expiration. Now we don't have to do much here. We just need to go to cPanel. For that there are two ways. One, you can go to hosting list. Here it will show you the plan and it will show the main domain. Here you can click on this to go to cPanel, or you can use the domain / cPanel to go to your cPanel directly. This username and password you might have got in your mail, and if we log in, this will be our cPanel dashboard. And as I was saying, Namecheap provides us with the option of setting up Python app, which other platforms does not provide. Now to host our website, there are two ways. Either you can use the Git version control inside this cPanel, where you can make a copy of your Git repository, or you can provide a zip file in your file manager. You can use any of the method, but let me go with the method where I will provide the zip file into our file manager. The first step is to make a zip of our folder where we have all our files. So if we go back and make a zip of it, while making the zip, if you are using WinRAR, make sure you are using this zip option, and let's make a zip. It will take a moment. After this is done, we will go to our cPanel file manager. If we open our file manager, this is how our file manager dashboard will look like. So here I will use upload, select a file. Here I will use the zip file, open it. It will start uploading. One thing to keep in mind here is, we should not go back when it is blue. After coming on 100, it will be blue for a while like this. We should wait until it turns green like this. It should be green. Now we can go back. Here we should have our zip file at the last like this. Now we can extract this. In the home repository, I will say area 51 demo, extract files. It is done. And if we reload this, we can see we have our folder here, and inside this we have another folder and we have all the files. So what we will do is we will rename this to some different name. Let's say demo1 rename, and now we will move it on our home directory. Move to home directory. If we check our home, now we should get demo1. Now we can delete this demo. We don't need it. Let's rename this again to demo. Rename. Now we have our folder in our home directory with all the files. Now in our cPanel, we go to setup Python app. Here I already have these two applications, so let me destroy it for now so that I can put our demo into this. So first step is we click on create application. We choose our Python version. We can select any version we are working with. So I'll go with 3.8. Then we need to give application root. So here I will say area 51 underscore demo. In application URL, it will give you the default domain. Keep it like that, and you don't need to put anything else. So we can say create. It will take a moment. It says Python application created. Now if we scroll down, we have this configuration files. In this I will add requirements.txt. I will add this, and from here I can run pip install. So if I click on this, it will install all the dependencies in our requirements.txt. It will again take a moment. After the dependencies are installed, we can also check if our application or URL is working. If we click on this open, it should give us something like this. It works and the Python version. This means that we have successfully set up our Python application on cPanel. Now let's go to file manager, go to the directory, and here we will find one file that is passenger wsgi.py. We will need to edit this. So if I edit this, edit, we can comment all of this code, and here we can write from area 51.wsgi import application. What we are doing here is in our file manager, if we see we have this folder area 51 or the core folder. Inside this we have this wsgi, and if we see this, we have application is equal to get wsgi application. So we are trying to get this into our passenger file. So let's close this, save our passenger file, close this. In our Python application page, we will restart this, and now if we try to open, we should get our website like this. So this is how we can host our Django application on cPanel. Again, these are some icons that are missing, so we can go to our AWS bucket and update our course policy that we have seen in the previous video. So let's quickly do it. In our AWS console, if we go to our bucket, if we go to permissions, if we scroll down to course policy, which is this one, if we add it, in place of this localhost, I will paste codepipe.com, which is our domain. If we save this, it is successfully saved. If we reload our website, we should get our icons. But again, in our bucket, in our policy, we need to remove the final slash. So it should be up to .com. The slash should not be there. So finally, we have hosted our website on cPanel. Now anyone that is on internet can see our website. Before concluding the video, let me remind you again, if you are new to the channel, please hit the subscribe button and push the notification bell to not miss out any videos. We have made our UI using Adobe XD. We have made our front end using HTML, CSS. We made our backend using Django. And finally, now we are hosting this on cPanel. I hope I was able to provide some information and my videos were useful and helpful to you. Give us a thumbs up if you liked watching my videos. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. If you are not subscribed to the channel, hit the subscribe button, push the notification bell. We will meet very soon with a new video. Until then, this is Somvir taking your leave. Adios.